When news broke that Capcom was bringing a Disney licensed game to the N64, my fanboy self went nuts. It was to be their first game on the console after years of wondering if they would ever show up. Of course, I naturally believed, along with many other journalists of the time, that they would have something huge lined up to make their 64-bit mark known. I never cover it on this channel, but like many of you watching, I loved their incredible games on the NES, and I had high hopes just for exactly what they would deliver on the console. Sure, wishes for a new 64-bit DuckTales were overly optimistic, but there must have been a huge worldwide groan at the time when the game was confirmed to be nothing more than a Disney-inspired Tetris game with some new mechanics thrown in the mix. Ever since the original Tetris on the Game Boy, which sucked hours of my life as well as packets of batteries, it's just been hard to get excited for a new Tetris game. Nothing has come to surpass the original in the decades since that original release. And so landing in January 1999 in the West came Magical Tetris Challenge. Developed and published by Capcom, it was a game which received positive praise, but ultimately it was always the game which none of us had been waiting for. Surprisingly, the game does actually have a storyline, which slightly varies depending on which character you choose to play as. In essence, they all revolve around a mythical tablet which has given Pete the power to control the minds which he naturally does for evil purposes. This results in your chosen character travelling across the land, bumping into other Disney characters who always ask you to battle them at Tetris. If you win, they'll reveal the next part of the storyline which will whisk you away onto your next scenario. The cutscenes are surprisingly well done and look in line with the art style and content to animated series that Disney were pushing out on TV at the time. Being in 2D, this almost feels as a tease as to what a great looking 2D platformer they could have published instead, but in terms of this game it fits the bill. The writing is corny, but heck, it's Disney, so you won't find Shakespeare here. It's a gameplay though where things do become more creative. The classic Tetris mode is contained in this game and it's referred to as up-down Tetris. However, it's a magical Tetris where the innovation comes into play, and thankfully, it does work where other Tetris mods have failed. Magical Tetris plays the same as the basic Tetris you know and love, however when you clear lines or are attacked by an opponent, a magical meter fills up on the lower side of your screen. Once this meter tops out, you'll get a magical effect which takes a huge area of your game and clears it down for you. When you attack an opponent, they will still receive the 7 standard Tetris pieces, but they are also likely to start receiving some of the new magical Tetris pieces. The bigger your attacks to your opponent, the more difficult the new pieces become. At the height of battle, these pieces can be huge and complex. As some of these blocks are as large as 5x5 pieces, it does make them more difficult to place. Not only this though, you now have the ability to get a pentris, which is when you clear 5 lines at once. There are other game modes such as Signal Tetris, Towering Tetris and Target Tetris, but these remain as loose variations and objective-based mission levels which are likely not to keep you coming back to them. The single player mode will take you around 2 hours to complete from start to finish, and a real disappointment was the fact there is no 4-player support, so it's only up to you and one friend to play this if you ever need to. Yes, there is Rumble Pack support, but for a game as basic as this, it would have been awesome to have seen a high-res mode with expansion pack support, but sadly this is also not an option. The music too can be a bit of a mixed bag. The storyline music is a catchy jingle of what I can only describe as kiddie hip-hop, but when you're actually playing, it turns itself into the background music of something like High School Musical. The game is designed for the younger gamer, but there's something sickly sweet here which sometimes becomes annoying when you're playing. Once you've completed the story though with the 4 main characters, there really isn't much replayability here. There are better Tetris games on the N64 with more game modes and options. Heck, even the Tetris mods like Tetrisphere offer something entirely new for die-hard puzzle fans. If you have a younger gamer in your life, then this may be the title for them. The Disney license makes the game ooze that special type of kid-friendly charm, and as an adult, you'll likely get some challenge from the new Tetris pieces. But after the initial novelty wears off, then it's not a game you'll likely keep coming back to. And so for today's topic of conversation, let's kick things off with finding out what classic Capcom game you'd have loved to have seen on the N64. Personally, I would have loved to have seen DuckTales or indeed Rescue Rangers make their 64-bit jump. But as always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below, and until next time.